It's good to have you on Dot TV Midday News. I am Ifi Arono. In today's digital age, where information is readily accessible through smartphones and the internet, many people now rely on online platforms for learning and research. Despite this shift, public libraries continue to play a vital role in promoting education, literacy, and lifelong learning. Against this backdrop, our correspondent Cynthia Adanaya visited the Delta State Public Library and other locations to sample public opinion on the state of the library and the reading culture in the state.
For decades, public libraries have served as centers of knowledge, providing access to books, newspapers, journals, reference materials, and other educational resources for students, researchers, professionals, and members of the public. Many library users say the quiet and serene environment offers a conducive atmosphere for studying, particularly for students preparing for examinations and researchers seeking reliable sources of information. However, beyond the peaceful atmosphere, some users expressed concerns over the condition of the library's facilities. They noted the absence of functional computers for public use, lack of internet services, non-functional air conditioners, the absence of a water dispenser, and inadequate restroom facilities. They appeal to the government and relevant authorities to upgrade the facilities to attract more users and improve service delivery. The director of Delta State Library acknowledged these challenges, stating that the institution is currently facing a shortage of staffs and that many of its computer systems are no longer functional. According to the director, a proposal has already been submitted to the Delta State government for the procurement of new computers, current edition of books, and other learning resources for the 30 public libraries across the state. The director appealed to the government to approve the request to enhance library services and better meet the educational needs of residents.
We have a series of leaking roofs. It's almost all the library, even in this headquarters, we have leaking roof here. It's disturbing us. Though we have written and we pray that the governor will look into it and give us approval so that all the things there can be put in place.
The assistant director of the library also explained that the institution operates 3 categories of annual membership registration. According to the assistant director, users register under different categories with annual fees of 2,000 naira, 7,000 naira, and 12,000 naira, depending on the category of membership and the services required.
The general users, they are entitled to hard copies, which is this reading room. Then the category 2, which is digital library. Those people, they are entitled to use our systems because we have systems here. Then that category 3, those people, they can invite their friends. For example, if they have a conference meeting with their friends, they can equally invite them and discuss with them.
Library management further stated that despite the challenges, the institution remains committed to promoting a reading culture, supporting education, and providing quality information services to the people of Delta State.
The library can bounce back again and fulfill the aim and purpose for which it was set up, which is to serve the public, providing them with up-to-date information.
As technology continues to reshape the way people access information, public libraries remain essential centers for education, research, and personal development. While the Delta State Public Library continues to provide a conducive environment for learning, both library users and management believe that improved facilities, modern computer systems, internet access, updated books, and increased government support will further strengthen the library system and encourage a stronger reading culture across the state. Reporting from Asaba, Cynthia Adanaya, Dott TV News.
From education, we move to security. Delta State Police Command has followed a suspected cult initiation ceremony and recovered firearms, ammunition, and other exhibits during an intelligence-led operation in Orogun Community, Ugeli North local government area. A statement by the Delta State Police spokesman, Bright Edafe, said acting on credible intelligence, in the early hours of July 19, 2026, that members of the Black Axe Confraternity Aye were conducting an initiation ceremony in a forest within Orogun. Operatives of the Command's Quick Response Squad stormed the location. On sighting the operatives, the suspected cultists opened fire but were repelled by the superior tactical response of the police, forcing them to flee into the adjoining forest along the Abi Abraka axis. A search of the area led to the recovery of one pump-action gun, one cut-to-size double-barrel gun, 7 live cartridges, 2 expended cartridges, 7 vehicles, 6 mobile phones, suspected cult regalia, and other personal effects abandoned by the fleeing suspects. The statement added that all exhibits are in police custody, while efforts to arrest the suspects are ongoing. And from Asaba to the police in Delta State, police in the FCT. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory FCT Police Command has announced the arrest and detention of 4 of its personnel for allegedly extorting 53,000 naira from the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Musa Aliyu, during an illegal stop and search operation in Abuja. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Sanusi, who disclosed this, said the officers mounted an unauthorized checkpoint around the Banex area of Wuse after leaving their respective duty posts and extorted the ICPC chairman without knowing his identity. Sanusi, at a media briefing in Abuja, described the officers as thieves who had no business wearing the police uniform. The commissioner said the ICPC boss was forced to withdraw 53,000 naira through a point-of-sale POS operator and even paid the transaction charges before the officers shared the money among themselves. Also, the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Federal Capital Territory, Ahmed Sanusi, has urged residents, particularly youths, not to allow police officers to search their mobile phones during stop-and-search operations, saying such actions violate the directive of the Inspector General of Police, IGP. Sanusi stated this during a press conference where he reiterated that officers are prohibited from randomly searching the phones of members of the public. The police commissioner explained that although mobile phones could serve as evidence in criminal investigations, they should only be examined after a suspect had been lawfully arrested and taken to a police station. He stressed that officers should not stop people on the road and demand access to their phones, mainly because they suspect them of internet fraud or any other offense. Moving on, Abubakar Abba, the commander of Ansaru, an Al-Qaeda-affiliated terrorist group prosecuted for alleged terrorism by the Department of State Service, DSS, has been sentenced to life imprisonment by the Abuja Federal High Court. Abba, aka Abubakar, bagged the life jail along his co-accused Mahmoud Isman, aka Isa Adam, Mahmoud on Monday when they pleaded guilty to the 32-count terrorism charge brought against them by the DSS on behalf of the federal government. Justice Emeka Nwite handed down the jail term while delivering judgment in the case. Following the conviction, jubilation erupted in so many homes and quarters, especially in the northern part of the country. Well, sadly, no fewer than 40 women and children are feared dead after a canoe capsized in Ringim local government area of Jigawa State. The Jigawa State Police Command confirmed the incident yesterday, saying one body had been recovered while search and rescue operations were continuing for the remaining passengers. In a statement on its official Facebook page, the command said emergency responders were working to recover those still missing. The Director of Planning at the Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, Sema Mohammed Sanusi, also confirmed the incident, saying the passengers were mainly female farmers and agricultural laborers traveling by canoe when the accident occurred. According to him, the cause of the boat mishap has yet to be established, while emergency personnel, local divers, and community volunteers have intensified search efforts in the area. And now to politics. The vice presidential candidate of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, has confirmed that the party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, signed a written agreement with him to serve only a single term of 4 years and allow power to return to the North if elected president in 2027. Kwankwaso disclosed this during an interview on Channels Television on Monday, saying the agreement was aimed at ensuring power returns to the North after a single 4-year tenure, in line with the party's power-sharing arrangement. The former Kano State governor said he had no reason to doubt Obi's commitment to honoring the agreement. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has opened its recruitment portal for the 2026 employment exercise, inviting suitably qualified Nigerians to apply for entry-level positions across grades levels 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. The application portal opened on Monday, July 20, and will close on Monday, July 27, according to a notice cited on the Commission's website on Tuesday. INEC said the recruitment is aimed at strengthening its institutional capacity in electoral administration, voter registration, data management, and election logistics for the effective discharge of its constitutional mandate. The Commission stressed that the application is free of charge and warned applicants against submitting false information or forged documents, saying offenders would be disqualified and may face prosecution. You're still watching Midday News on Dott TV. Still ahead. NLC pushes for new minimum wage, says new wage for workers unavoidable, plus foreign and sports stories. And that's after the break. Do not go away.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them. You're still watching the Midday News on Dott TV. Here are the rest of our stories. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has announced plans to begin a nationwide campaign for a review of the national minimum wage while pushing for the introduction of a national minimum pension to improve the welfare of retirees. NLC President Joe Ajero disclosed this during the inauguration of the Godwin Abumisi Pensioners Legacy House and Multipurpose Hall in Abuja, where he stressed that the welfare of pensioners should receive the same attention as that of serving workers. According to Ajero, organized labor can no longer advocate for improved wages for active employees without also demanding better living conditions for those who have retired after years of service to the nation. Describing the current condition of many retirees as unacceptable, the Labour leader said it was a historical injustice for citizens who devoted their productive years to national service to be left in poverty after retirement. Well, the Northern Christian Elders Forum has rejected the reported allocation of more than 8 billion naira in the proposed 2026 federal budget for the construction, renovation, and equipping of churches and mosques. In a statement by its chairman, Sunday Oibe, The forum described the reported budgetary provision as ill-timed, unnecessary, and inconsistent with Nigeria's pressing national priorities. It urged President Bola Tinubu to redirect the funds to security, economic recovery, and other critical national needs. Well, the Central Bank of Nigeria on Monday said it had opened 2 foreign currency domiciliary accounts for the controversial Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council. This is as the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, appeared at the headquarters of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, to testify in the ongoing investigation into the activities of the fictitious agency. The Apex Bank's admission came at a public hearing convened at the National Assembly complex by the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee, investigating the existence and operations of the PFIPC, chaired by Yusuf Gadgi and inaugurated by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. Represented by the Director of its Banking Services Department, Hamisu Ibrahim, the CBN said the accounts, one in US dollars, the other in British pound sterling, were opened following a mandate received from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. For more news on the international scene, let's now join Nkechi Chukwudi.
UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham is set to announce new support to help people with the cost of living crisis as his cabinet meets for the first time. The new Prime Minister vowed to provide breathing space for households struggling with the cost of living as he stood on the steps of Number 10, pledging to set out details on Tuesday. Late on Monday night, Burnham finished making appointments to his top team, with key appointments including John Healey as Chancellor and Ed Miliband as Foreign Secretary. Former Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner also returned to government as Housing Secretary, as well as a new Defense Secretary, Wes Streeting. In his first speech to the nation in Downing Street on Monday, Burnham said he wanted to bring forward the biggest changes in the last 40 years to British politics. Elsewhere, United States President Donald Trump has imposed a 50% tariff on a wide range of goods imported from Canada in retaliation for what he called unequal treatment of U.S. cars, dairy, and alcohol. Everyday consumer items like wine and hockey sticks and industrial goods such as cement are among the goods targeted. However, several key exports will be spared, such as energy, potash, critical minerals, and fish. Prime Minister Mark Carney responded by saying Canada stood ready to intensify trade talks with the U.S. in the coming weeks. The White House said the duties would take effect in 30 days and mark a major escalation in trade tensions between the North American neighbors. The new duties apply to all covered goods regardless of whether the product was included under the existing free trade agreement between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, known as the USMCA. Meanwhile, the U.S. military says it launched another round of strikes against Iran to further degrade its capabilities to attack ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The strikes, the 10th consecutive night of attacks, of course, come after U.S. President Donald Trump vowed to punish Iran for the deaths of U.S. soldiers. Trump earlier said Iran had been hit very hard the previous night in honor of the 3 U.S. soldiers killed recently, 2 in Jordan and 1 in Iraq. In response to the latest wave, Iran said it struck 2 oil tankers in the waterway, as well as the U.S. military assets in Bahrain and Kuwait. President Masoud Pezeshkian said Iran was now fighting a full-scale war with the U.S. And finally, social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate appeared in federal court on Monday as their attorneys vowed to fight an extradition request from the United Kingdom on sex crime charges, including rape and sex trafficking. The brothers, who were arrested by the U.S. Marshals on Saturday on their way to a bare-knuckle boxing event in Miami, remain in custody after the hearing. The brothers were already facing rape and human trafficking charges in the UK over allegations from 2012 to 2015. After getting their start on reality TV in the UK, the Tate brothers have gained notoriety over the years by promoting increasingly misogynistic content online, racking up followers and criminal charges. Andrew Tate, a self-proclaimed misogynist, has earned masses of online supporters, many of them young boys and men, with content promoting male dominance, female submission, and reverence for wealth and power. Reporting for Dott Television News, I am Nkechi Chukwudi.
And now sports news with Anthony Uche.
Super Eagles of Nigeria have maintained their 26th position in the latest FIFA Men's World Ranking released on Monday, though Richel's men slipped one place to fourth on the African continent after being overtaken by Egypt. The Super Eagles have not played since a 2-1 friendly defeat to Portugal in June, meaning the shift in the continental standings came from movements elsewhere rather than results of their own. Egypt climbed to third in Africa on the back of an impressive run at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, where the Pharaohs reached the round of 16 before narrowly losing to Argentina. Morocco remained Africa's highest-ranked nation, holding 6th position globally after reaching the World Cup quarterfinals, while Senegal stays second on the continent despite dropping 3 places in the global rankings. Algeria round out the continent's top 5 after slipping 1 spot to themselves. At the top of the global rankings, newly crowned world champion Spain reclaimed number 1, while beating finalist Argentina dropped to 2nd. France, England, and Brazil complete the world's top 5. FIFA has confirmed the next update to the rankings will be published on the 7th of October 2026. Now to some tragic news, where Liverpool, Newcastle United, and England legend Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75. Keegan represented both Liverpool and Newcastle as a player while also playing for Scunthorpe United, Hamburg, and Southampton. He won 3 league titles with the Reds, as well as 1 European Cup, 2 UEFA Cups, and the FA Cup. Keegan is also the only player from England to win Ballon d'Or on a multiple occasion, claiming the award in 1978 and 1979 while playing for Hamburg. He also won the Bundesliga title in 1978 and 1979. Keegan revealed he had stage 4 cancer in June, which is the most advanced stage of cancer and means the disease had spread through other parts of the body. His family initially disclosed he was battling the disease in January after he had further evaluations of ongoing abdominal symptoms in hospital. A statement on behalf of the family confirmed he passed away with his loved ones by his side. Elsewhere, the FA's disciplinary committee has appointed a disciplinary and ethics prosecutor to assess what happened after the final whistle at MetLife Stadium on Sunday. Any player or coach involved in the fracas could face suspension, while Argentine Football Association (AFA) may also be fined. Following their 1-0 defeat on Sunday, members of the Argentina team and backroom staff were involved in altercations with Spain players as they began to celebrate their World Cup success. Nahuel Molina, Leandro Paredes, Thiago Almada, and assistant coach Roberto Ayala all appeared to be involved. It was initially reported by FIFA that Paredes had been sent off by referee Zlatko Vincic after he pushed Spain's Eric Garcia by the throat. Paredes' red card was removed from the report shortly afterwards as FIFA confirmed that it had no disciplinary action taken at that time. Argentina already had 1 player dismissed, with Enzo Fernandez receiving a 2nd yellow card in the second half stoppage time, and FIFA had already begun the process of potential disciplinary action against Argentina after their players held a banner in support of their country's claims to the Falkland Islands following a 2-1 semi-final victory against England. From the Sports Desk, Anthony Uche for Dott TV News.
And that concludes our package on the midday news on Dott TV. Do follow us across social media at official.tv. I am Ife Arono. Thanks for joining us. Keep watching Dott TV.